Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters Money, your source for all things money. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Gonen, Ergas on the line and Victor Wong, who are co-founders over at Advisor Search Partners, LLC. Hey, Gonen and Victor, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. This is Victor. Yeah, thanks for having us on.
All right, so excited to get into today's topic. So how limiting self-beliefs and misconceptions can severely disrupt upward career trajectories. Maybe just to get us kicked off, Victor. I mean, give us a little bit more of the background and kind of how you see that this has affected career trajectories from your viewpoint.
Absolutely. Well, this past year has certainly showcased how sudden, drastic, and in some cases disruptive change can be, right? And however, it's also shown us that with proper planning, execution, precision, and understanding of all levers and factors at anyone's disposal, there's always going to be opportunities to capitalize on a changing landscape to really put yourself on a rapidly upward trajectory and elevate you to the peak of your personal and professional ambitions, whatever they may be, right? Now, many smart people that we have the pleasure of networking and helping, they continue to have great ideas on how to situate themselves favorably in this new era we're embarking on, right? Because it's happening whether we're ready for it or not. And it takes courage, though, to execute them. And a lot more people have it than they give themselves credit for, and that's what we love to help flush out for them. And they just need to understand that usually any fears and perceived risks that are rooted from past years or decades even of conventional wisdom are just commonly incorrectly carried forward now in their thought process as they begin to plan for the future. So really, whether in life, but particularly in work and any industry, and certainly even deeper as it relates to the wealth management industry that we're so passionate about helping, top advisors have really earned and deserved the right to align themselves with a platform that's built for the future, with forward-thinking concepts and cultures, and not with ancient and sort of uninspiring philosophies of captive/larger firms of the past. So that's what we mean there.
And maybe just to go a little bit further, I know you touched on it, but tell us a little bit more about Advisor Search Partners and what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking about that. So we're dedicated search partners, right, for elite financial advisors and their teams all across the country, wherever they are in the stage of their careers, right? And we pride ourselves at really being at the forefront of every hot button topic that is changing the wealth management landscape as we speak, right? From succession planning, next gen platforms, top of market, transparent payout structures, rapid scaling opportunities, tech, diversity, right? Open architecture, and insulation from relentless pressures from these large institutional leaderships to do more with less. And that's just to name a few of them. And the crux of it is we just make all of this very relatable and digestible to these already very busy individuals and talented individuals. And we build our trust and establish relationships over time to then help them transcend into paths that they feel good about for the future.
And Gonen, I want to get you involved in here. I haven't forgotten about you over there. I mean, so going further into your mission, I mean, you're both co-founders and of this company, and you obviously seen a need in the industry that you're looking to solve, like all business owners when they have an idea and they want to go further with it and solve a problem for people to provide value, right? The core of business. So, I mean, Gonen, why are you so passionate? So what was the idea? Like, why are you so passionate to help these next-gen advisors specifically?
Absolutely. I appreciate the question, Adam. And before I answer, I just wanted to congratulate you on all the success with the podcast. We're big fans and know that you've done a lot of great work there. And just to dive right in there with the answer, this really all started out as a need that we organically saw across the financial services, wealth management arena. My background used to be in wealth management when I was aligned in helping RIAs evaluate alternative products. And just organically, my past network and discussing with them where their careers are going, they're just stuck in environments that already have a predetermined path for them, unfortunately, most of the time, right? You work here 5 years, there's a milestone, 10, 15, 20. You're confined to a box of limited opportunities, unfortunately, in these large environments. And what we really specialize in is getting to just understand the story behind each advisor. Specifically next-gen advisors that are just kind of following in the path of their senior partners. They only know what's inside of their four walls most often than not. Or maybe there's another branch manager they're aware of, or one of their friends or colleagues made a move. They don't really know about all the different opportunities and strategies that they can execute, levers they can pull on to just transcend the current path they're on. As individuals that are so busy and working all the time for their clients and their families, and especially now being remote, the large companies just don't really give much opportunity beyond a certain path. So what we like to do is really take a zoom out approach, get to know them as an individual, understand their story, identify what they want to do more of, what they want to do less of, and really show them and introduce them passively and confidentially into different platforms that can provide that springboard to the next phase of their career. And I think for me, what's very passionate about discussing these opportunities with next-gen advisors specifically is that the future is changing so fast, right? As Victor highlighted, this year has certainly brought on a lot of change in business landscape and people working remote and being more nimble. And I think that's going to continue. So basically what we want to do is leverage these accelerated trends and show these next-gen advisors, hey, you don't need to stay in the same place for 10, 15, 20 years, right? You don't need to be that palm tree and just grow tall in one place. You can be a vine and really take your career where you want it to go. My little Florida analogy for you. But that's really the passion and where it stems from.
No, that's great. And I think what I would see immediately happening is you're creating longer careers for these advisors. Like they're not getting burned out. Like they have other, they see that they have room to move and build in their skill set. Can you talk a little bit more about like what the feedback you've gotten from your clients just in general?
Absolutely. So, the feedback from our clients, right, more often than not is that, quite frankly, they wish they would have evaluated opportunities sooner rather than not. Because there's just so many limiting self-beliefs in their culture, right, for what they can accomplish long term. So candidly, what we really have heard is that, the conversations that we're able to align first and foremost are always more refreshing than they expected. And there's a lot of opportunity beyond their walls that, they weren't really privy to outside of our conversations. And we really curate high-level introductions. So we don't waste anyone's time. We really make sure the boxes are checked and there's a real good conversation lined up for them to have a lot of synergies, both from the advisor's perspective and the client or platform that we're going to be introducing them to. So all around, our process is very different than a lot of our competitors, more established competitors. We're a newer company. We bring a different approach and a different energy to the industry as a whole.
Man, that's awesome. So, Victor, if somebody is listening to this and they want to learn more about advisor search partners because they have questions, and what's typically a good fit to work with you and your team just in general?
Like, what is the profile of a good fit to work with us? Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're really like to keep the door open to any advisor across the spectrum, right? So whether you're a couple years in the industry, or certainly trending to the 10-year plus mark, and then all the way up to the 30-year plus mark, right? What we really like to do is just get to know folks and help give them the data points, right? And knowledge and guidance and certainly empowerment to situate themselves optimally in a platform to continue carrying the great work this industry has already done. So I think, if we had to peg it down to a number, whether you're a 300K producer or a 500K producer, $1 million, $2 million plus, we want to work with all of you and really just get to confidentially know you and establish a relationship and just get you to understand all the levers at your disposal and certainly present data points you may not have even thought of in the past, right? And then just begin to solve the equation for a better path forward.
That's awesome. And what's the best way for people to connect and to follow up?
Yeah, either myself at bw@advisorsp.com or Gonen at ge@advisorsp.com, or text or call us directly. We have a lot of folks just doing that. And my number is 502-819-0228. And Gonen, your number is?
786-348-3219.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, Gonen and Victor, been a pleasure having you both on the show today. Appreciate you coming on, and a big fan of what you're doing really at Advisor Search Partners to help these next-gen advisors and just, helping people with their careers and going forward, because you're right, people need to know they have options, and I like what you're doing overall. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned some things. If you did, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Love for you to be a return listener. Got more great guests just like Victor and Gonen coming up for you. Don't want you to miss out. Thank you both, gentlemen, for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Adam.
Cheers, Adam.